Hey everyone, it's Daniel from Cast98 here, and in this video, I'm going to teach you how to find yourself in the rehearsal schedule. So in the past 3 episodes, the first 3 episodes of this new podcast series or video podcast series, I talked to directors and I tried to teach directors how to use a spreadsheet to create the rehearsal schedule. A lot of people already use spreadsheets, but in those tutorials, I wanted to use my spreadsheet expertise to teach directors how to be more efficient with their time when working with those spreadsheets. So in this video, I'm going to switch things up a little bit, and I'm going to talk to the actors who are receiving that rehearsal schedule in a spreadsheet. And so I'll take you through some techniques. It's going to be a really short video, I think, but we'll look at a variety of different formats that you might get the rehearsal schedule in. So let's just go ahead and get started. This is me, by the way, in my super secret soundproof bunker. Not really. It's a recording studio here in Athens, Georgia that I get to borrow from time to time. So it's a lot of fun. But yeah, you didn't come here to see me. So let's get right to it. I'm going to go ahead and open up my full screen Firefox browser. And this is a look at a PDF schedule. This is a real schedule that I had a few years ago. And this is just one example of what you might get from your leadership team in your show. So there's not a lot that I can do here to actually find my rehearsals except this. I look at the names that they're using in where they call the actors. And so in this format, it looks like they're using character names to say who is called to these different rehearsals. So in my case, I was Neville Craven in this production of Secret Garden. And so if I wanted to find Neville, like for example, here I am right here, one mention of Neville, I could do Control F. And this is true for any browser that you might use, and it's true for most programs too if you're using Excel or something along those lines, or Adobe Acrobat does the same thing. So anywhere where you're looking at a PDF rehearsal schedule, you'll be able to do this. So Control F, and then whether you see a search box or not, it's probably open. I'm going to type in Neville, Neville. And so what that does is it highlights everywhere that Neville is mentioned. And if you see my search bar down at the very bottom, I'm on kind of a big screen, so if you can't see it, I apologize. But or maybe you can't read it, but it's definitely down there. So I have some options. I can choose to highlight all or not, match case, etc. I don't want to do really any of that. I do want to check the highlight all button, but that's going to be the only one. And if I toggle that on and off, you see right in the middle of the screen to the right is one mention of Neville that gets highlighted and then it's not, etc. So if you want to find yourself pretty easily in a PDF, this is your only recourse. This is really the only way you can go about it, is by contextually looking to see how they're referring to actors and to search for your reference. Now, I could also, just to make sure that I'm covering my bases, I could also search for Daniel. So that's my name, and you see it's not found anywhere, and that's fine. And then if I scroll all the way to the bottom, I also want to make sure I capture the rehearsals where they're calling everybody, so that I don't overlook any of that. So if I search again for Neville, Control F, and I search for Neville, you see I'm in a lot of rehearsals, kind of in the later portion of our production cycle. And then if I type in cast, I can also see anywhere where they're calling full cast, but I can't see both at the same time. So a PDF schedule, hopefully you don't have to work with a PDF schedule. Hopefully the director is providing you something a little bit more flexible. But in a PDF schedule, you can't edit it. I could copy and paste this into a spreadsheet, but there's no guarantee that it's going to look very good or be usable at all. A PDF is a file format meant to preserve the visual integrity of whatever it is that someone has created. So it's not a great use case for a rehearsal schedule where the visual isn't as important as me, the actor, wanting to extract this information quickly. The last thing I'll say about the PDF format is that even when you have found your rehearsal here, such as this one that I had on May 20th, that was a Monday at 8:30 to 9:15, it's a full cast rehearsal. Okay, so now I know that, but unless it's Sunday or Monday and I'm looking this up to try and, when am I called today? It's not doing a lot for me to put it into my calendar. I still have to open up my Google Calendar and manually type in all of this. I have to click on May 20th and enter the time and say what it is to make sure that I remember what the rehearsal is for. So this is for the finale, pages 106 through 111. So I have to enter all that information, and I don't know about you, but I have messed up so many times with a typo, just the smallest little typo. Like after you've put in about 15 or 20 rehearsals into your calendar, you're starting to kind of remember the same numbers, and you're likely to type in a number that you saw in a previous rehearsal, but that's not the one you have for this one. So I cannot even tell you how many times I have either put the wrong rehearsal content. So I'm planning to block a scene when really I'm dancing for a different number, or I type in, heaven forbid, the wrong time, and I show up an hour early or an hour late, and I get that phone call, hey Daniel, where are you? 10 minutes into the rehearsal, and I'm like, what do you mean? I'm not called until 9:30. No, you were supposed to be here at 8:30. I was like, oh, my bad. So hopefully, if you're a director watching this, try and steer clear of a PDF rehearsal schedule. It makes things really difficult for your cast, and even if they put everything into the calendar on their own correctly, it's going to take them probably an hour to sit down and put this into their calendar. And it's also kind of annoying to have to come back and look at, if you don't put it into your calendar, to come back and reference it every single time you think you need to go to rehearsal, to pull it out from your documents or your email and look at it and try and find what you're doing. So PDF is not the best way to do a rehearsal schedule. Please steer clear. And if you're an actor, just remember you can use Control F and search for your name or your character name or cast or all, the word all, however your directors are referring to the attendees for these rehearsals. Just search for that term, and you can hopefully find them relatively easily with the highlighting. And that's true for any browser again. So the next thing I want to show you is a spreadsheet rehearsal. So let me zoom in a little bit since we have some extra space over there. And this is one from a few years ago, another show that I was in, and this is for a gala. So this isn't, you don't see scenes in here, but act 1, scene 2, etc., things like that, because these are just songs from a variety of shows that make up this gala content. So a spreadsheet is much easier to work with. However, sometimes the director will send an Excel spreadsheet out that you have to download to your computer, and then, every week or every 2 weeks after that, the version changes and they send a new version out there. And so you end up with several versions of the same Excel spreadsheet on your computer, which can be really annoying. Or if you like to clean up after yourself like I do, you still only have the one, but you have to make sure that you delete the old ones and the correct ones every time a new one comes out. You have to remember to do that, because before you click in the email to download it, you need to go find the one that you already have and delete it. Otherwise, you might get confused which one's the accurate one, and you delete the wrong one, and then you're looking at the old schedule, and it's just, everyone in theater has this problem, and we've all been there. So on the flip side, this is a Google Sheets spreadsheet, which is helpful because the link is never going to change. Hopefully, if they're using Google Sheets correctly, the link to look at the schedule is never going to change, and so you're always looking at the most current version, and that's really, really helpful. But the drawback here is that, as you see with this blue button, I'm in view only mode, so I can highlight a lot of this, but I can't type anything in, so I can't make any notes in the margin or do anything that is really going to help me make this my own, organize it in a way that makes sense to me. So they've already done a pretty good job here. They've got the date on the left side, and then the time, and then what is this rehearsal for, the scene or the song, and then all the attendees. They're called, this time it looks like we're using their real names, not the character names, and then a conflict list for everybody that has a conflict on this day. So this is a really good setup, and I like this a lot. But again, I can't manipulate this. I can do Control F and I can search for my name, Daniel. And you see here, it highlighted, it says there's 26 matches, but just looking at this first one, my name is not anywhere in the cell here. And so what it is apparently returning is the word Danielle. So, okay, well, I can't search for Daniel because there's a Danielle in this show, and there's probably, Daniel's a pretty common name. There might be another Daniel too, I don't know. And so right off the bat, I know that I'm gonna have a little bit harder time searching for my name in this list. Also, if I go ahead and scroll all the way down to the end, we have again, they're calling it the entire cast. So in the last rehearsal schedule, they called it all cast. This one, they're calling it entire cast. I've also seen it where they call it all, ALL. So again, you need to understand how your director is, how they're referring to people, so that you know what to search for. But in this case, I can't even really reliably search for my name. You see, here I am right here. Here's a rehearsal, but here's a big list of folks here. And I see that, well, I scrolled past it, I think. Yeah, there's Danielle again, so she's being highlighted in addition to my own. So we need to do something here. So what I'm going to do is show you a little trick that I love to do if you have a spreadsheet calendar like this, to make it your own. And I'm going to also just try and make this as big as possible. So if I scroll down a little bit, the first thing I'm going to show you is that this spreadsheet is gigantic. I can scroll for a long time, and when I get to the end of the actual rehearsal schedule, you see there's all these extra cells. Excel does the same thing. They make the spreadsheet super big, and you use what you have to use, but then they don't remove anything for you. It's all still there. So if I select all in the top left corner to select this entire spreadsheet, what I want to do is copy and paste it to my own separate spreadsheet so that I can edit some things. So it's really easy to copy and paste. But if I scroll down, you see I've selected all this extra stuff. And so it's a gigantic spreadsheet, and I don't need all of that. So what I can do is I can select one of these cells down at below, hold down Shift, and just move the arrow, use my arrow key to move over to the edge of the schedule. And then I can hold the up key, and it's going to go all the way up. Or if you hold down Control and Shift and the up key, it's going to go a lot faster all the way to the top. Okay? And so when you get to the top, you can right click and select copy, or you see the keyboard shortcut. Keyboard shortcuts are always going to save you some time. You can do Control C and make sure you copy all of this. And you know it's copied when you see the dotted line surrounding it. That's true in Google Sheets. I think that's also true in Excel. Again, I'm not an Excel aficionado, but I am a bit of a spreadsheet master when it comes to Google Sheets. So I think Excel does the same thing. So now what I want to do is, let me bring back that top toolbar so I have these menus again. I'm going to go to File, New, Spreadsheet. And if you're in Excel, I think you can use Control-N maybe to create a new spreadsheet, or you can also go up to File and create a new one that way. So I've copied everything from that other one. Now Google Sheets, they kind of enforce keyboard shortcuts, and I kind of love that. But if you right-click and go to Paste, you see we get a pop-up. It says, you have a keyboard shortcut for this. Are you aware of that? It saves you a bunch of time. So I'm going to use Control-V to paste everything that I just copied from that other spreadsheet. So you see now I don't have the column sizes that I like. So that's really easy to change. Just put your cursor up on the edge of the column header, the letter at the top, and when it turns into that the double-sided arrow, you can just drag that out. So we have some more space to work with. That's pretty great. Pull out the conflicts column a little bit, the scene and the song, and I think that looks pretty good. Okay, so now that I've got this in my own spreadsheet, I can edit. So I could overwrite all this if I want, which I don't want to. But we can edit, and that's going to be really helpful. If you watched the previous videos, we're going to use one of the same techniques I used in that video. It's called conditional formatting. And it's the same idea as what I did in the PDF when you search for your name and it highlights your name. But this is a little bit more effective. So I'm going to select the column D, which selects the entire column, and I'm going to hold down Shift and click on column E. So I'm doing this for all of column D and E because I want to find my name in both of these columns. I want to know if I'm called to the rehearsal, and I want to know if they know about my conflict that I have in the conflicts column. So I've got both of those selected. So what I can do now is can you right click? I think you can right click. Yeah, if you right click and go all the way down, you find conditional formatting. Also, you can use the format menu in the top and go down to conditional formatting. So that's what we're going to do. And again, because you see the colors are applied right away because the default is if the cell is not empty, turn it green. So that's really helpful. You know that you're going to be able to preview the changes as you work on them. And so yeah, what we want to do is apply to range. It's already selected the range that I had selected, so nothing to change there. But we do want to search for my name. So if the text contains the word Daniel, let's see, all my green goes away because there's no Daniels here where I'm looking. If I scroll down a little bit and see an example, here's where Danielle is being matched. So we know that Daniel is a subset of Danielle. So what can I do to make that more specific? Well, it looks like they're using first and last names in this rehearsal schedule. So I can do Daniel F and see where that takes me. All right, so that got rid of Danielle D, and I'm Daniel F. So Daniel F is good. And I'm just going to keep that as the default green. You have some color options you can choose here if you want to change it up. But I'm going to add another rule down here. I'm not going to click on done. I'm going to add another rule because that remembers what I just did, and it just gives me a chance to edit something and add another rule like it. So in this example, I see in the conflicts column, they're only using first names. So for that match, I'm going to do Daniel, comma, because, you know, maybe if I'm in there, that's how I would be. I see Danielle right here, Danielle, comma, so in my case, it would be Daniel, comma. And I don't see any, but that's fine. I'm going to add another rule. And you see Caleb here on the end, he doesn't have a comma after his name. So I'm going to do comma space Daniel. So in case I'm the last person mentioned. And oh, you see that match Danielle again. So there's really not a lot I can do about that, but I'm just going to actually, you know what? I don't want that. So I'm not going to enter that one. But I will scroll back down and see where we had our entire cast. So I'm going to do cast, C-A-S-T. And now I'm going to click done. And so it shows me a summary of what I've created here on the right side. So I have 3 of these conditional formats out there looking for my name in a couple of different ways. So Daniel F, which you see right here, Daniel F is matched. And then Daniel, comma, which is matched in the conflicts column if I'm listed somewhere, but I'm not, so it's no big deal because I don't have any conflicts for the show, or I didn't have any conflicts for the show. And then the last one is the cast, which is going to return to everybody all the time. Now, the beautiful thing about what we've done here is that unlike the Control F and just searching, I can take this a step further. So if you're a parent, you're going to love this. If you see, there's another name in here, kind of like mine. It's Alyssa Fowler. That's my wife. So if I also wanted to pull out her rehearsals and highlight her name, I can do that all right here without changing a lot. So I'm going to select this last one that I set up. Cast is the text that I'm searching for, and I'm going to add another rule. And I do that just so it remembers all the settings that I've plugged in here. It's no big deal. You could add any rule if you want from scratch. And instead, I'm going to search for Alyssa this time. And she's got a pretty unique name. I don't think there's another Alyssa in the show. There is actually, but they call her Allie. So I think this matches my Alyssa F. And so that's pretty cool. Actually, it looks like we lost one when I did Alyssa F. Who was that they were highlighting there? Alyssa Roberson. Okay, so there is another Alyssa here. So I'm going to do Alyssa F, just like I did for my own name. And I'm going to change her color. I'm going to change her to be yellow. So parents, if you've got multiple kids in a show, or if you're in a show with a child, you can use this to quickly highlight everybody's name. And so now, no matter how many people you have in your family, you can find them all by just putting in these filters and find them really quickly. And please keep watching. I'm going to show you how cool this is because this is a long-term solution. No matter how many versions of this schedule come out, you'll be able to keep all the work that you're putting into this and reuse it over and over. So it's going to be really, really cool. But okay, so now you see I've got Alyssa highlighted in yellow and me highlighted in green. Because I put mine in first in a rehearsal where we're both mentioned, it highlights it as mine. That's fine. I don't care. And so it's really, really fun. So let me add one more rule just to make sure I cover all my bases. In her conflicts, Alyssa, comma, and I think she had one somewhere. Maybe not. I don't see her anywhere in the conflicts. So, and again, I'm just looking for the highlighted portion, and I'm not actually looking for anything else. So, oh, here's an Alyssa right there. So that might be her, but I don't think so because she's not even called to this rehearsal. So they called her Alyssa here, but really it's just, yeah, it's just that one Alyssa, that Alyssa Roberson. So, so yeah, hopefully you find that helpful. You can go through the same steps. And the really cool thing about this is that when the next rehearsal version is released, me click the X here just to get rid of that so you can see what we're working on. When the next rehearsal version is released, you can take the same steps to copy and paste into your spreadsheet here. You don't have to delete this one. And when you copy and paste it, all of your conditional formatting is still going to be there. But just to make sure, let's try that out. So I'm going to come back over here. This is, not a new version, but if I just, again, copy everything here like I did before, and then paste it over here. Let's make sure that I'm all the way at the top, though, in the top corner. And if I Control V to paste it, let's see if Alyssa Fowler stays highlighted right here. So yeah, she did. And of course that does change. I want to make sure that this works for you before I leave it alone. So let's make sure that it works. I'm going to go all the way down. Oh, I don't want all those. Just down to there. So I'm going to change up my selection. I'm just going to copy and paste it again. I want to make sure that the conditional formatting is not lost when we copy and paste. And it's not, because my conditional formatting is still there. So when a new version comes out, you can also do this. You could select all here in this is your spreadsheet. So you can select all right there and hit delete. And so right before you paste a new thing from the new version, you can just clear everything out and Control V. And here you see we've still got our conditional formatting. So it works really, really nicely for those new versions. Saves you a step of having to research your name for everything. Hopefully, if they're sending new versions, they're chopping out the past stuff. So if this new version came out and we're already like beyond the day for all of these, like these are past rehearsals now, hopefully they take these out before they send it to you. But if they don't, just know that you can select only what you need. Go all the way to the bottom, copy and paste it, and it's going to preserve all of your stuff. So that's really cool. And so that is all I really wanted to show you in this video is just that tip for actors working with a spreadsheet. Now I want to transition a little bit and show you what this looks like in Cast 98. Because Cast 98, we strive to make auditions and rehearsals easier, both for directors and for stage managers and for the actors in the show and for the parents of the child actors in the show. So that's our mission. That's what we're trying to accomplish. So how does this work in the rehearsal schedule on Cast 98? Well, automatically when the rehearsal schedule comes out, you have a Just Mine filter that you can see all of your rehearsals. So if I click on the attendee button on any of these, my name is highlighted in yellow on all of these rehearsals because I am an attendee on these rehearsals. So right away, as soon as the rehearsal comes out, the schedule comes out, you don't have to do anything. You can filter to see just yours. Also, under upcoming, you see they are highlighted in yellow. So if I click on this one that's not highlighted, I'm not called to that one. If I click on this one that is highlighted, I'm highlighted in yellow there. So you can do it either way. You also see when you have a conflict, you are crossed out in the list. So you're still marked as an attendee, but you're marked out in red and you've got a strike through your name. Also, check this out. For any rehearsal, you can export it with the click of a button. So if I'm using Google Calendar, I don't have to go and manually enter all those details and probably typo the start time or the page number or the day, be completely off. I can just use this button to export this rehearsal to my Google Calendar. And it's really, really easy. Or you can export it to iCalendar or your Outlook or your Yahoo Calendar or whatever you're using. Export it to the calendar of your preference, and it's just really, really simple. Let me zoom in on that for you just a little bit. So using Cast 98 is really, really easy, both for actors and for directors. And if you have any questions, drop them in the comment below. I love to answer questions. I love to help people work more efficiently. So if you have any questions about Cast 98 or using spreadsheets to create a rehearsal schedule or to shall we say, navigate a rehearsal schedule as an actor, definitely drop that question in the comment or send a tweet at Cast98app or find us on Facebook, find us on Instagram. It's all me. I'm a one-man show over here. So if you tweet us, live chat us, YouTube comment, email backstage@cast98.com, it's all going to come to me. So choose the medium of your choice and send me a message. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed episode 4.